Hey, Joe Soto here. Now we're going to talk about how to present your proposed solutions. So when you walk in to a business that you've got the appointment with, you've already identified that they need a e-commerce presence online, that they have a physical product that they either have tried to market online or maybe they haven't done it at all. No matter what the opportunity you have, I'm going to show you exactly how to present your services and solutions, and then also ultimately how to price that. So let's talk about what the prerequisite is to presenting a solution first, okay? This is the criteria. You've discovered a need that you can solve. That's number one. They have a physical product or physical products, and they're selling online via an e-commerce store or on Amazon or in a subscription box business would help them, okay? You also have to have some rapport before you start presenting. So that might mean spending some time early in the call, talking a little bit about their business. In fact, I would spend an ample amount of time learning more about them, a little bit more about their business, maybe asking them what their story is and building that rapport. Normally, inside of a sales process, I would spend a great deal of time here, but in this scenario and situation as an e-commerce agency, you can speed the sales process up a little bit because they know that you're coming in to present a solution that is centered around an e-commerce solution for them as an e-commerce agency. You also want to make sure that they're open-minded to seeing your solutions they've already agreed to. You want to make sure that they can make the decision, so you got the decision makers in the room. You also want to make sure that they have the budget, right? And there's a lot of different ways that you can determine that. Some future lessons we can add in to show you how to identify people who have the budget. But ideally, you found a business that can afford your services, which are going to be anywhere between $1,000 and $10,000 a month, depending on the size of the business. And if you're targeting the right size business, you can rest assured that they're going to be able to pay a minimum of $1,000 a month for your ongoing marketing management services. And quite honestly, that would be the very smallest you'd want to be able to charge. You also want to make sure you have their permission to present. So how do you transition to presenting when you're in this, I'm building rapport, I'm kind of getting to know their business and I'm hearing their story? It's simple. You ask, hey, I've worked with many clients that have challenges similar to yours, businesses that have products that maybe don't have an e-commerce or an online presence yet, and we customize our services to achieve goals like the ones you've mentioned, like we've talked about. Would you like to hear more about it? Would you mind if I just showed you what we have? And they're going to say yes. So you just basically are saying, can you give me permission to present? So what do you actually present? Some of you are like, well, I don't even know what I'm presenting. Well, there's 3 objectives while presenting and closing that's going to help you increase your ratio of closing by over 80% if you do this. So here's the 3 objectives that you want to keep in mind while you're presenting. Number 1 is you want to leverage the 3 weapons of influence. We're going to talk about what those 3 weapons of influence are in a moment. Number 2, you want to create value while you're presenting. And number 3, you want to wow them. Okay, so let's go through each one of these 3 and let's talk about what we mean by this. What do I mean by leveraging the 3 weapons of influence? Well, the first one is the law of social proof. People are influenced by what others do. And when you can prove that you can help them, it minimizes their risk and fear and takes away objections. But you have to be able to prove, and we're going to show you how to do that, because once you prove that you can help someone, it's very hard for them to resist what it is you're offering. Number 2, the second weapon of influence is the law of comparison. People hate to be behind the curve, left behind, or losing out to competitors who may know more than them or who are doing better. So when you can identify competitors or similar companies that are having success online or that are selling a similar product or category online with an e-commerce store, they feel like they got to play some catch up and they need your help to do it. Number 3, the law of authority. Through your presentation, you're going to build authority. And I'm going to show you how to do that throughout your presentation as we go. All right, number 2, creating value while presenting. All right, how do you do that? By teaching them something. Most people don't realize the power of teaching someone something because that puts you in a position of authority. Think about your teachers, professors, your mentors. How do you view them and how do you look at them? Right? With Ty, you see him as a teacher, as a mentor, and as a person of authority because he's giving you value, he's taught you something, right? People have more respect from those they learn from. So if you teach them something, your prospects, something they didn't know, even something small, you'll earn their respect and their trust while you're presenting your services. So what are a few things that you can teach them? You can teach them about the 3 areas of e-commerce marketing to grow revenue. That's traffic, conversion, and retention. They got to have traffic to the store that you're going to build. They got to have good conversion strategies in place, from making sure the landing pages, their funnels are set up correctly, and making sure that they're converting by adding Facebook retargeting, by adding Facebook Messenger retargeting, Instagram retargeting, YouTube retargeting, etc. And then of course they have to have retention. How do they retain their customers or potentially even upsell them into additional offers? Another thing you can teach them is you can teach them about chatbots. If you're familiar with Facebook Messenger marketing or you've learned about chatbots, or if you haven't, I mean, you can go to ManyChat, type in a Google ManyChat course, and you'll see there's a 10-hour free course on just how to use chatbots by leveraging the ManyChat software platform, which by the way is free to set up. So you can teach them about chatbots and how e-commerce stores online are leveraging them, and then you can demo it to them. You can teach them about Facebook and Instagram and YouTube ad retargeting and retargeting strategies for e-commerce. For example, Shop Message, you see this screenshot here on the right side. This shows, it says start conversations that will drive millions of extra revenue. What that means is someone goes on their e-commerce site and they fill out some information on the shopping cart and then they get distracted, they leave. Or they decide that, oh, maybe I don't want that right now. Well, it'll automatically send them a Facebook Messenger message that'll say, hey, we noticed that you left your shopping cart. So it's an abandoned shopping cart software for their Facebook Messenger. And it's an automated bot which could offer them discounts, or it can ask them questions, or it can prompt them to ask questions about the products that they may not have decided to go ahead and purchase in the shopping cart. Very powerful, and something that anyone watching this can go and learn about in a matter of minutes, and all of a sudden you look like an expert in front of your customers. That's the goal here. So you build authority throughout your presentation by adding value and teaching your customer something. You can teach them about automated follow-up. In addition to retargeting, you can talk about email, text, ringless voicemail, and all these different things. And if you're unfamiliar with something like ringless voicemail, type it into Google and learn about it, because you just learning a little bit more than your customer makes you value. There's an old saying that says, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. That means just knowing a little bit more than your prospect knows is adding value to something that you bring to the table. Number 3, wow them. So how do you wow them when you're presenting to them? There's really 2 ways that I recommend that you can wow your customer. In addition to teaching them something, by the way, which will lend authority to you. And sometimes what you teach people can wow them. But in addition to that, 2 ways to wow them. Number 1 is with your funnel map, which is your customized e-commerce marketing system blueprint. Okay? I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to show you a free software that you can use to maximize that. Number 2 is with a demo. Show them examples of results you've gotten for other e-commerce clients, or there is a workaround if you're new, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. So let's talk about the first option I showed you, which you can wow somebody with, which is with a funnel map. This is a customized e-commerce funnel strategy called a marketing system, marketing blueprint, whatever you want to call it. Think about this for a moment. Customers will pay more for a marketing system, for a marketing blueprint, than they ever will for an online store or a website. So you say, listen, I'm going to get you an online store built, but I'm going to build you an e-commerce funnel strategy. I'm going to build you an e-commerce marketing system so we can drive people through a funnel and then ultimately to your store as repeat customers for your online products that you're now selling that were only being sold prior physically in your store or in your location. So what tool do we use? We use Funnelytics. So if you go to funnelytics.io, okay, it's free to set up an account. It's free to use their software. They do have a paid version, and their paid version has all these different bells and whistles that you really don't even need. So just get the free version for now, and then you can show them. In fact, let me show you real quick. I'm just going to get out of my screen right here and go to the actual software itself. So now you can see it in action. This is what it looks like once you're logged into Funnelytics. Very simple to use. You can see here I have the skeleton of a funnel for somebody that's a product sales funnel, because what's cool about Funnelytics is they have a lot of templates for you. And they have what's called the Vault, where you can go and download existing funnels that are totally hacked for products that you're probably even either a customer of or that you're going to recognize. And it's really easy to use this. So I can actually add little things like I can add traffic. So I can add, for example, that I want to use Facebook. And I want to add that I want to use Messenger bots. And I want to use Instagram. And let's say we want to use YouTube. And we want to use all these different services. And I can just, and by the way, what's cool about this is that you can get rid of these little arrows so fast. And look how fast I can set this up. And I can get rid of the labels. So I can if I don't want it to have to say Facebook or say Messenger, you can see what I'm doing right here. I'm just clicking on these. Look how easy it is to edit these. I'm clicking on YouTube, editing this, get rid of that, click on Instagram, because they recognize the graphics, so they know what these are. And then I can just show that we're doing all this traffic, and then maybe I want to, oops, didn't mean to duplicate that, point that to here. Pretty simple, powerful, right? Now I'm showing that we're using all these different online platforms to drive traffic to their sales page, order page, upsell page. The point is, when you diagram this out, you're giving them the blueprint for a successful e-commerce funnel. And now, keep in mind, with a customer, you can add their logo, you can add specific names up here, like for instance, you could put upsell. Let's say it's a flashlight company that sells flashlights, but they didn't know they could be selling these flashlights online. I could put flashlight upsell to you know, a 3-pack. I could upsell to, you know, batteries. I can downsell to extra or I can upsell to LED lights. I can downsell to ordering some batteries for the flashlights, etc. That sounds funny, but I know people that have actually sold funnels or sold flashlights through funnels and done over $1 million in under a year. So even though I'm using that as an example, but as you can see, really simple to use this tool, and you can change all the labels to any one of these things. And when you look on the left here, see where it says pages? Look, I can add a download page, an opt-in page, an order page. I can add a calendar survey page, upsell, webinar replay. I mean, it's all here. This is a really cool software, and it's 100% free to use. So just want to show you what that looks like real quick, and now let's go back to the actual presentation. I'm going to go back to my screen. Just give me a second. Talked about wowing them. Another way is to show them a demo, right? Show them examples of results you've gotten for another client. And this could be in the form of a recent, you know, campaign that you've done, or Facebook Messenger subscribers, text opt-ins. This is an example of an e-commerce funnel that I've showed a few times. This is my wife's business. She owns Girly Boutique. And as you can see here, in this particular funnel, you can see that we have a Facebook ad that goes to a landing page. Now, it goes into an e-commerce funnel where it ultimately gives them a coupon code. What's the value of that? Well, we built the funnel separate from the website. And that way we can do what's called an e-commerce giveaway funnel. And what's the results of that? Well, for this particular campaign, you saw we reached 100,000 people with a Facebook ad. If I was showing that to a business, do you think they'd get excited? For this Facebook ad, I reached 108,000 people. We had over 4,200 comments, likes, shares, and so on. And you can see here, we collected 866 emails, and that's a 92% conversion rate based on people who hit the landing page. So the landing page was very effective to grab email addresses. In fact, we only paid 5 cents an email, that's per potential customer, for $112 5 days into that campaign. The result of that was we also added another 577 Facebook Messenger subscribers, so we now can add them to the chatbot and the automation program. Great results, right? That stuff can wow a client. But if you don't have clients, or you don't have results yet for anyone, because maybe you're new and you've just gotten started in this program, you just started your e-commerce agency, well, you can show them a demo. And Shopify has several e-commerce template examples that you can demo. And also, ClickFunnels, another great software. If you're not familiar with ClickFunnels, I encourage you to go check it out. You can also build your own demos or grab screenshots of funnel templates from their funnel marketplace to show off to clients. And what that essentially does, like this is an example of demo templates from themes.shopify.com, is it shows all these different store themes so that people can visualize what their potential online store can look like. In fact, you can grab one specific theme. You can grab screenshots all the way through the theme. They don't have to know it's a theme from Shopify. They just have to know that that's exactly the type of mock-up for a store that you would do for them. Keep in mind, your clients, your agency clients, these businesses, they're busy doing what they do. They're not familiar with sites even like Shopify, especially businesses that have been selling physical products that have never looked into online e-commerce. They're not familiar with the different themes that you're going to find here. So after you've wowed them, okay, you've taught them something, you've showed them your funnel map, you've done a demo, you then can walk them through your proposal. Because what happens is you're setting a frame, and that frame sets you up for success with the client. So that way, by the time you propose your solutions, they're already impressed with you, you've already gained authority with them, you've you've weaponized yourself for a great close. You don't want to spend a lot of time on the proposal. You just want to go through it. And once they grasp what it is you'll do for them, the marketing system plus the ad management plus the e-commerce setup, they just want to know what your fees are and what their options are, right? So what are you actually proposing? It depends on the client. You might propose that you do a Shopify build out e-commerce store for them because they don't even have an e-commerce store. You might offer to redo the current e-commerce store that they have. Maybe they have an e-commerce store, they're just not great driving traffic to it, so maybe you just offer to sell them a funnel, and that e-commerce funnel that they'll pay, by the way, $5,000 to $10,000 for easily, and I know that from experience. You can sell that and then just say, I'll manage all the Facebook advertising and all the traffic to that funnel, right? And your fee needs to roll off your tongue like a normal conversation. So you can say, for the setup of the Shopify site, we initially charge $5,000. Now, that $5,000 gets cut in half if you also hire us for ongoing Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and so basically your social media advertising management to drive traffic to your funnel and into your website. And so you can then say that for that it's $2,500 a month, and we require a 6-month commitment, but we'll give you half off the build out of your store. You might do something like that if you're new and you want to make it feel like they're getting some sort of deal. But if you're not new and you're established and you've got great clients and some good examples, then just stick with your fees. And remember, they buy you. They buy the confidence that you have. And you're going to expect them to say, yes, when do we get started? Because a lot of times if you expect that, they'll just ask you, what's my next step? When do I get started? And after you've explained your fees and options that you've outlined in the proposal, you're going to ask the three-question close, which is in an upcoming lesson. The recommended proposal software, there's actually several of them. I mean, bidsketch.com is good, pandadoc.com is good, Proposify, I think it's called, is also very good. Just pick one. They're all about the same. They all charge about the same monthly fee. Just pick one and run with it. Don't get hung up on that stuff. Other presentation tips is you want to be captivating. Make sure you up your energy level. If you want your customer to be excited, you've got to get excited first. If you want them to be enthusiastic about what you're doing, you've got to be enthusiastic first. If you want them to be attentive and ask good questions, show them that by asking good questions and being attentive on the front end of the meeting. Invite that, right? And you want to ask short, confirming, trial closing questions throughout the presentation so they do some of the talking. You may just ask, does this make sense so far? Is this something you'd like to see working in your business? Does this reflect what you think can help you with your business? Those are trial closing questions that are typically going to promote a yes out of them. You could also ask some open-ended questions, such as, what questions at this point are kind of crossing your mind? And if it's not something you were already going to cover, you can just address it then. And make sure you respect their time and act as if you've done this a million times, okay? And remember, you don't need them. They need you, and you have an obligation to show them how you can help them in a way that they can easily decide yes to. That's your role, okay, is to do the best job you can to present your solutions in a way that they could say yes to it without any question. Now, if remember, needy is creepy. So if you ever look like you need their business, if it ever comes across like that, if it ever sounds like you have to oversell them, they're not going to buy from you. They're not going to want to do business with you. They want to do business with a partner that's looking out for them, but isn't desperate for their business. So that's my tips, and that's my presentation strategies. I think that if you follow this, you'll understand exactly what to do when you're presenting your solutions, which are going to be to either build an e-commerce store, maybe it's to build out an Amazon store for them, maybe it's to set them up with a subscription box business, whatever it might be. Now you know how to present it, and now you know how to win.